Hi, I'm Leah Ahava. I made a video a couple weeks ago about how not looking like a pro doesn't make you a bad dancer, but I didn't really apply it to myself. I started Lindy hopping when I was 16. I saw how the instructors danced and I wanted to be like that. I would keep at it, going to dances and workshops, but when I would watch videos of myself, my dancing looked nothing like how it felt. My posture issues were inescapable, and movements would always be more jerky and angular on camera than in my head. Was my head angle really like that? Do I really make that face? Is that really how my steps look? Ugh. To this day, I struggle with how my dancing looks on camera. When I was younger, I told myself that I was trying to learn to move in a particular way while my body was still changing. I was still getting taller and my shape was still changing, making subtle tweaks of my center of gravity and the details of my weight distribution. But when my body picked a size and shape to stick with and I was still nitpicking my dance videos. So if I was being honest with myself, I had the same nitpicks for videos of me not dancing and some candid still frames too. So two facts have always stood in juxtaposition for me. First is that I have always had great body image. I was one of those kids who never stopped believing it when her mom would tell her that she was the most beautiful girl in the world. I never worried that I was too fat or too skinny or anything. I looked exactly how I should. Sure, I had some fun with hair dye, but that wasn't because my natural color was bad or anything. And I still think that I look exactly how I should. I'm heavier than I was a few years ago, but this body made another human and fed it to boot. After doing that, this body can take whatever shape it wants. I love being on camera and having all eyes on me. The other fact, though, is that some pictures and videos of myself make me cringe on the inside at least a little. Sorry, most pictures and videos of myself. So why cringe? There's a subtle but consistent disconnect between how my movements, facial expressions, and my body positions feel in the moment and how those same things look on camera. When I'm confronted with what the camera sees, it isn't how I see me. And it also doesn't match the people around me. I don't feel like my movements are different than anyone else, but it's right there on camera. So before discovering that I'm autistic, my response was to notice this emotional response and sweep it under the rug. Nobody likes how they look on camera anyway, right? I can keep working on my dancing. I have great body image. This isn't how I feel about how I look. So whatever. But what I'm starting to wonder is if that response is serving me well. You probably see me stumble over my words on this channel sometimes. You see me look down away from the camera on scripted videos like this one. I know it isn't the polished delivery that you get on other channels. But I'm in a place right now where I'm trying to accept and embrace my natural presentation because it's there and no amount of script memorization and no number of recording takes is going to take it away. And if I really have the positive self-image I've identified with for 30 years, then what do I have to fear about some funny little mannerisms and head angles? This kind of self-acceptance is easier to do for candid videos than it is for dance. Dancing with a partner should feel comfortable, but there's also an aesthetic component. It's an art form after all, so of course there's an aesthetic. It's far more subtle with me than it is with other neurodivergent folks out there, but the reality is that my natural movements look different than those of neurotypical people. I've never been selected for an advanced lesson track, and the only time I've made it to the finals in a competition was at a small event at my university. But now that I know why my body moves the way that it does, I can decide what I want to do with that information. And my decision is this. When I'm dancing, I want it to feel good to me and to my partner. I want it to feel right, but I don't want to try to move like a neurotypical when I'm not one. So if my aesthetic is not as smooth as Sky Humphries, who cares? Is anyone as smooth as Sky Humphries? Let's be real, Sky Humphries shouldn't be allowed to be as smooth as Sky Humphries. But I digress. If I dance in a way that feels good to me and feels good to my partner, we will both have fun. And having fun is why I go dancing in the first place. And I think it's also a great aesthetic. I'm not there to compete anyway, so it's time to quit self-judging. It's time to dance autistically. Thanks for watching. Feel free to do all the YouTube things, and I'll see you next time. Let's dance. This song is by Naomi and her Handsome Devils, or at least this version is.